So I've been reading this, and I'm gonna actually like do motivational videos every couple of days on this. This is 1 minute with God. Today I'm on this, and the God's promise is wisdom will multiply your days and add years to your life. If you become wise, you will be the one to benefit. If you scorn wisdom, you will be the one to suffer. And then I'm just gonna come up with a relatable story in my life, or like weight loss, because this channel is gonna be mainly about like taking control of your life. And anyone that doesn't know me, my name's Kyle. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I'm a master trainer. I have hundreds of clients. I'll just slap up like 20 right here that have seen amazing transformations, no strict diets, and they don't give up their social life. And sorry, I got cut off. My wife called me. So wisdom, it says it can extend your life and give you, more power, and it can just change your life overall. And a quote that I read the other day, it was saying that a fool goes forward with zero advice. Now, if you take an advice from a fool, then you're going to end up a bigger fool. But if you surround yourself with people that can put you in the right direction and build wisdom and help you actually achieve things in life, you'll go a very long way. And it goes to like coaching, or it goes to having a mentor. It goes to, even if what you don't realize is the people around you is also your mentor, right? And I'm going to give you two examples. One, when I had a mentor that almost got me in trouble, and then one that, changed my life. And the mentor didn't almost get me in trouble, but led me down a bad path in my area, right? It was just somebody I had, looked up to, someone that was like making a lot of money, and they didn't live a great life. Like, I grew up with a lot of crime, a lot of bad things. That's why I ended up ultimately going to the Marine Corps. And we would, like, when you have like-minded mindsets and you guys are both doing crazy things, it doesn't seem that crazy when you're doing it. And if anyone's ever been in that lifestyle, it's like, oh, we might go to jail today. He just got a DUI. He wrecked his motorcycle, almost died. Let's go get drunk again and ride a motorcycle. It's like, we lived a crazy life for a very long time, and a lot of you are doing that. Like, let's say you are all overweight in your friend group. Like, science says that you will live a shorter life, and instead of holding accountability and holding each other to the fire, you guys all just kind of go out and you do the same things over and over. And I was victim to that for a very long time. And I'm not saying you have to get rid of your friends. I'm saying you all should start holding each other accountable. So long story short, out of that friends group, one person passed away. He got back on drugs. I've never been big on drugs, but I was, very heavy on alcohol for a very long part of my life. And he was sober for a couple years, and then he passed away. Somebody wrecked their motorcycle. Two people wrecked their motorcycle. One was relatively hurt really bad. The other one was just not hurt that bad at all. Just kind of a freak accident. And we had also been, in multiple altercations that led in people shooting at us, trying to shoot our houses up, threatening our kids. And whether you want to say it or not, like, that's a mentor you had in your life. Either I was being the bad mentor or they were being the bad mentors, but when you're all in the same circle doing it, that's a mentor. You're listening to them make plans, you go with the plans, and then you do it. And then when I ultimately decided, quit drinking, I was sober for 3 years. Now I go and have an occasional cocktail with my wife or something at a fancier place. I don't go to like very low end bars really. And I got a few mentors. I've had multiple, right, throughout the years, but one of my very first ones, his name was Tanner Chichester. He was for business. And when I started going to the group calls and I saw these people were making, $20,000, $30,000 a month, they were making really good money. They didn't go out. They just kind of stayed home. They journaled. They, practiced faith or whatever it was. And I started realizing, no matter where you're from, if you have the wisdom in your head, you can become something better and you can become something more. But you can't do it surrounding yourself with bad-minded people. Once you start to hear higher end things and you start to hear people talk about positive things, and you realize, if I use the wisdom I have to become a better person, it can ultimately change my life, or the power and the wisdom I have can be my ultimate downfall, because you can have wisdom in the wrong direction. Because your ego, masculinity without God is just ego. And if you can't check yourself, you don't have people around you checking you, you're going to live a shorter life, whether that be with the health that comes and takes you out, an accident that takes you out, you go to jail. Like, people's ego have sent them to prison for the rest of their lives, or sent them to an early grave because they didn't want to take anyone's advice, and they ate themselves to an early grave. Another example of bad mentors that I have an example of is, I left my city to go to the Marine Corps thinking that would be my fix to my life, right? But here's the thing. Also, shout out to Ghost. This grape crayon is amazing. Here's the thing. A lot of us, when we go to the military, we find like-minded people we relate to. So guess what? I was drinking all the time. We was getting in fist fights constantly. At one point in time, we kicked these people's doors in, and we were facing some pretty serious stuff. I remember my master sergeant pulled us into the office like, hey, don't go around this person. And the only reason I got out of it is the person that owned that house said I wasn't there. And it was some serious stuff. They were accusing themselves of breaking and entering. When you hold someone against their will, it's kidnapping. So these guys that they started it, we went there, and then whatever. None of that's really that important. The point is like, I surrounded myself with the same type of people that I knew from back home. And then again, we were each other's mentors. And whether you want to admit it or not, the people around you, your friends, are still your mentors, because they're just mentoring you in the wrong direction. And when I came back home, I was getting into just like a little bit of trouble, nothing crazy. I haven't been arrested or been to jail since I was like a kid, 18. I have a petty theft and an underage. But it was always surrounding myself with people that would give you advice, but it was advice that nobody should really follow, because it ended up with us getting in trouble, ended up with our friends dying, or ended up in jail. And more of the story is, if you show wisdom, you have to understand yourself and have actual accountability, and keep the people around you accountable also, because without accountability, it all fails. Without accountability and wisdom, you'll have a short life. Once you realize there's an abundance of knowledge out there, and you just have to go seek it. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter to the people you know. You can always become better. And once you start to practice accountability and you start to seek more wisdom, your life will change. I agree with that passage 100%. It will lead to a better life. It will lead to a clearer path. It will lead to your actual purpose. Once you just take some accountability and you start to seek the wisdom of the people you should be seeking wisdom from. Because there's a lot of people out there that are speaking wisdom that are leading you down the wrong path. And they're leading you down a path because they don't have any self-accountability. And what I'm talking about is like, it could be your parents, it could be an uncle, it could be anybody. Because they're 50, 60 years old, they think that age comes with wisdom, but if they never had any self-accountability and they haven't really done anything to live a more fruitful life, their wisdom is just in their own head. And again, that goes back to masculinity is just ego without God. And unless you have self-accountability, you will have no wisdom. And then your life will be as mediocre as possible. So that's kind of going to be the style of the videos I'm going to drop every other day. I drop this every single day on my shorts. And then it's always going to be related to either weight loss or just changing your mindset. So, and if any of you are looking for a mindset, fitness, and nutrition mentor, I have hundreds of client transformations. You can go to my Instagram and look at them. Just hit client wins, and there's tons of before and afters. People have lost over 100 pounds. Guys that got abs, females got abs, couples got abs together. And ultimately, at the end of the day, if you change lives, God will bless you. And if you just stay positive and if you seek wisdom and you stay positive, your life will change forever. I appreciate everyone. If you guys can subscribe to the page also, I would greatly appreciate it. Faith over fear. And as always, God is good.